yet. Obviously, there's so much possible with OBS, the tool which much of us are using. Okay, I was away a few weeks. Was last week. I was on a field day. I tried to come on the net, but my PC was kept on blocking. I couldn't monitor myself, and that resulted into a complete sudden stop of my complete station. Apparently, my laptop, which is an i7, was somewhere very busy with a lot of other things what I was not influencing on, and therefore it blocked. Before that, I was on several other camping grounds, and not possible to be on the air, at least not on the wideband. Okay, well, this week I have a little bit more time. Next week I won't be on as well, because somewhere I will be somewhere in the vicinity on a small boat, doing some fox hunting from a small boat, which is one of my other hobbies, as you know. It's called the otterjacht, which is water animal here in the area. Okay. Next, I found a message from someone still requesting DATV software for the Pluto Plus. Pluto Plus is the Pluto, which came on almost 2 years ago already. I bought one over 1 year ago and played with it quite a bit. I managed to get it on DATV by changing it back to the original software, but then you lose the network. And I have played with DATV Easy on the standard with the network, with the standard software, with the standard firmware, which works. But it didn't do great DATV, and I kind of neglected the part, and it was lying here on my shelf. Only yesterday I thought I saw this message again on the BATC web, and got a bright idea entering the call sign M0 Victor Sierra Echo, Phil's call sign, and I found his blog, and presto, I found his firmware on his blog as well, which I downloaded and loaded up to my original Pluto Plus. So this is a straightforward upload, no point in I need to switch off my audio a bit, because I get a little bit annoyed from my headphone. I did the standard upload, no changes in dip switches or whatever, which is necessary to use other different kind of software firmware on the Pluto Plus. And well, then I found a nice Pluto Plus on the network, add-on Pluto DATV controller. First, I couldn't find the Pluto itself, but I needed to figure out a little bit, and then got the right, because you get the Persevere version, I believe a 303 version from Everest, which is then copied to 2510. And that's basically the date, 25 of November, which was the date Phil made this, and well, no one was able to reach him. I haven't seen it yet, but now we see it is running, and it is running nicely, and it runs beautiful on the someone is asking me about what kind of version. Let's see, see it quite easily. Mike 0 Victor Sierra Echo Phil made this piece of software, and well, anyway, I downloaded it and tested it, and it's running ever since. I've seen some errors and already reported back on the BATC website. So check on the BATC website for the updates. And what I found so far, maybe I'm doing simple things wrong, but I can use it now for on the network for SDR console, for DATV Easy, and for DATV with the F5OAO way, go directly out of the OBS into the Pluto Plus, and that works also all on the network, all on its original 1 gigabyte Ethernet port. Okay, well, that's basically what I wanted to add today. Besides all the other things which are going on, is this at the moment, I think, the most interesting. And I know Ed was also looking for it, so I think Ed can test it as well. Okay, well, microphone on to the next one. And I need to think, was that, oh, to Tom, obviously. Tom, microphone and the frequency on to you from Papa Alpha number 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray.
Sounds Tom might have a bit of a problem. Sounds like Tom might have a bit of a problem. Let's just see, Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf, ZR6TG. Let's see, Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf, ZR6TG. He didn't indicate that there's a problem. Anyway, we'll give it a go, Tom. If Tom doesn't take it, Randall, will you kindly? So let's bring in ZR6 Tango Golf, failing which, Papa Echo 1 Sierra Delta Echo. Just give Tom a gap to get in, Randall. Take it away, Tom, from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Okay, thanks there, Gary. ZS6YI here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. Sorry, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I was PTTing and nothing happened, and then it came back. So, yeah, all good. Let's see if I have sound. Yeah, sounds like it. Don't know what the sync is like, so hopefully that's not too bad. Okay, hello everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on this Sunday today. And Benno, good to see you there. And yeah, great find on the firmware there. I've got my my Pluto Plus here as well. It's also been waiting for for something very similar. So I just opened up the link there on the BATC. So I'm going to be downloading it as well and giving it a try, because it's something I've been wanting to do for a while now. So yeah, great find there. Definitely going to try it. Okay, from my side, haven't been doing too much this week. Between the cold and family responsibilities, didn't have too much time in the shack this week. I did, however, start playing around with Leon's request. So Leon's request originally was to have a not use the internet, and I played a bit around and I've been doing some reading, and I actually ran across the BATC backend software that full cramped it. It basically reads an SDR, gets the data from there, and that's the data that we see on the wideband spectrum. It's two separate projects. You've got the website aspect, and then you've got the actual server that talks to the SDR. And so I played a bit with it and got it going on a Raspberry Pi. It seems to work very well. And so along the lines with it, I also decided that I needed a clock for my shack. So I combined the two. So this is the end result. Let's see if I can, this is a video, so the time and date is wrong. Let me show you there. So that's my little shack clock that I put together. It's a Raspberry Pi with a 7-inch screen. Not the cheapest of projects, but I do have an idea around that. But yeah, it does the little clock function, and it's got a live wideband spectrum view on there. And but what's cool about it is step one is it can pull the data from the website, the BATC monitor website that we use. It can either pull it from there like QuickTune, or mine is currently set up to actually use an SDR. So what it shows there is essentially live from the satellite without using any internet. Leon, I know it's not quite what you had in mind yet. I know you wanted more of an app on your PC with the SDR link to it, but I'm working towards that. But this was a nice little sidetrack. And you can actually, I showed you a video because the camera doesn't do it much justice. But there's it running right now, and it's using that AirSpy SDR that's lying there. The reason it's using the AirSpy SDR is you need the bandwidth. So an RTL stick won't work. It only has about 2.4 megahertz bandwidth, and the AirSpy's got about 10 megahertz bandwidth. Me and Benno was chatting yesterday, and we can most likely get this working on the Pluto as well. So that's the next experiment to play with. And then the SDR that you have, Gary, the RSP Duo, that one also has enough bandwidth, so also worthwhile looking into that. So yeah, it's not a big project. Just something I've been playing with, and yeah, now I've got a nice little shack clock. And what I've done, well, there was some comments about it being an expensive project, and especially with the shortage of Raspberry Pis at the moment. So I actually think I can get this going on not the live from a SDR, but the clock display with a live display on it, either via the internet or connecting to a Pi with the SDR. I basically have the idea of getting this to work on an ESP32 with an LCD display, so that would connect to a network and just pull the data off there. So something more standard. I ordered one of the Adafruit Pi Portal displays, which is a 3.2-inch LCD display with an ESP32, and I believe that should be sufficient to put together the whole clock with the wideband display. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how it turned out. It's quite nice to keep an eye on it without having to have the spectrum open on the PC or QuickTune or that, and then just see the activity. Obviously, additions to that would be call signs showing power levels, stuff like that. So I've already got the basic code for this on the website. The website is ZR6TangoGolf.co.za. You'll find a little write-up there that just shows the basic one that pulls it off the internet, and then I'm busy writing up the version that will be using the AirSpy. Just a little tutorial to install the BATC backend on a Raspberry Pi. But yeah, so steps in the right direction, and Leon, it's something working towards what you had in mind there. So not quite there yet, 100%, but almost there. We've got something going. Ideally, I want to have a separate app just on a PC that QuickTune can use this. Speaking of which, QuickTune, I already modified QuickTune and Longmint to be able to point it to this Raspberry Pi. So the QuickTune and Longmint quick tuning can then also happen via the via the SDR. So even if the internet's down or the wideband spectrum is down, it'll still work like that. So yeah, that's essentially what I did this week. Not a crazy amount, but good progress nonetheless. Okay, that's all from me. Looking forward to what everybody else has got going on there. Hello to Randall, Mike, Leon, Bert, and Ed. And Ed, I'm quite excited about your expedition. I still wanted to look up to see if, because you guys are going to be doing the LEO satellites as well. I'm quite keen to see if the RS-44 satellite, if the footprint will be big enough to possibly cover us both at some point in time over the time that you're there. I haven't looked into it yet, so it might be way off, but it'd be interesting to see if something like that can be pulled off. Be a nice little experiment with the my satellite ground station. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Randall. Papa Echo 1 Sierra Delta Echo, here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf.
So thank you very much, Tom. Yes. So yeah, for me it's quite. I believe, yeah, that's better. So I'm working at an DATV receiver of a transmitter. It's the standard is of course the Pluto. And then I have an a power amplifier needed, and I do it in two stages. The first stage for me, it's yeah, it's quite simple. I take a small amplifier here in my shack, and I connect it by coax to my big amplifier. So here my little setup for my big amplifier. It's water cooled. Benno, I have already got the pictures because I did some experiments with Benno. This is for me is yeah, the standard. My amplifier for the QO-100 is also water cooled. Using a standard radiator that you can get by AliExpress, and also a pump by AliExpress, and some household tubes that you can buy at any hardware store. So I'm using a 540 watts power supply. Power supply is meanwhile and does 26 volts. I'm not going up to 28, but 26 volts is enough. I'm using a step down, two step downs, one for 5 volt and one for 10 volt. 10 volt because yeah, for me it was easier to take 10 volts in consideration that my the pump is making a little bit of more noise at 12 volt, and 10 volts is enough to circulate it. So I don't need the total amount of voltage. So I'm using that a little bit down, and 5 volts I'm using for making the SPI of SP32 working with my temperature gauge that I have here in my shack, and an DS18B20, I believe, and that is also at this moment checking my amplifier here on top for the QO-100, and it's doing in Fahrenheit and also in Celsius. So that's about me. I had here nog a small film, so this is about it's running. I'm using standard coolant liquids, no water, coolant liquids. It lubricates the gears for the pump, so makes a little bit less noise, and that is for me is an okay deal. So I must check now from who is next on the program, because yeah, I'm not alone. So it's a little bit messy for me. Okay, the next on the program is Mike, Golf 1 Lima Whiskey X-Ray. It's Papa Echo 1 Sierra Delta Echo for the QO-100. Check I've got it. Yeah, I think it's okay now. Okay. Oops. Very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and hello to all the watchers on the satellite as well. I hope it's okay this week. I had problems last week with the audio. I think it's back to normal. Okay. Yeah. Benno, the audio, your audio was excellent. Excellent audio. I'm going to have a look at the link which Gary put on the chat and see whether I can improve mine. But it was very good. Tom, yeah, problems. Well, problems originally, which you always get, don't you, when it's your turn to go. But you soon solve those. And the Raspberry Pis, yes, it's a big problem, isn't it? I just managed to get one, and then a few days afterwards, they were all sold out again. That was from the Pi Hut. And Randall with his water cool down, that looked very nice. Okay, and the noise from the pump, yeah, well that is a problem, isn't it? I've actually been working on a new PA here for the satellite. It's almost complete, and for the fan, I've used a cheap car radiator fan, which just fitted the heatsink quite nicely. But the noise was horrendous, so I had to put a Y1 resistor in to drop the speed, and it's fairly quiet now, and it still keeps it very cool. Of course, it's quite a substantial heatsink as well, which helps, of course. Yeah, so that's going to be tested sometime next week, when I get round to it. Also, I finished the Winter Hill. I was working on it last week. That's finished now, and I did a little modification to it, as you can see. I put an on-off switch on to save unplugging the power supply all the time. So I just fitted a small switch with a neon in, and that looks it works very well, as they do. Okay, I'm not holding it long. Usual thing on a Sunday. So on the next round, Randall, if you'll pass it to Leon, because I won't be here. I'll be on my way to pick my wife up. So I think that's all from me for today. I'll let you all know next week how the amplifier's going on and how it's performing. So let's tell Luke who's to take it next. Oh, it's Leon. So it's ZS1MM to take it from G1LWX.
Okay, Good afternoon and good morning to Ed this. Yes, everybody from ZS1 Mike saying hello. Okay, Mike, before you go, please don't alter your audio. Your audio is fine. It's still a little bit low. Your problem is the room acoustics. You can change the microphone to a slightly larger microphone and perhaps a bit more directional. But otherwise, it's fine. Okay, Gary, yeah, we had a chat a little earlier on. Benno, your audio, I'm sorry, I don't agree with Mike. It sounds like a badly set up Vox. It chops off the first bit of your words, and it sounds sterile dead when you stop talking. I don't like that. Okay, very nice on your fox hunting. That sounds very, very exciting. Fox hunting from a boat is that's good. That sounds lekker. Okay, Tom. Wow, you've exceeded yourself. That's better than having it on a PC, man. Gee whiz. We must just wait for the Raspberry Pis to become available again. And I wonder if it'll work on an even smaller screen. You said, I think, a 7-inch that you have there. But that does it. It's alive. It's not this slow scanning thing. It's like having a real spectrum analyzer on. I mean, that's exactly what I want, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. So very, very well done there, Tom. That is excellent. Very, very nice. The clock on it is nice, but I would prefer to have the clock smaller and the spectrum a bit bigger. But yeah, that's just cosmetic. It's really, that is fantastic. I don't know, the SDR that I've got is also a little box, a little black box like yours with 2 SMA inputs and the USB output. I have no data on it. It's just some eBay thing, so it's probably not wide enough, and I'll have to go for one of those expensive ones. But anyway, definitely not wasting a Pluto on that. No. As badly as I want it, I'm not going to waste a Pluto on that. SDR will definitely have to do. Okay, Randall. Yeah, the only thing about yours, I think your camera is a bit high. You're almost dropping out the bottom of the picture. You must just watch where your camera is pointing, but otherwise your picture quality is good. And I like your idea of the coolant. Yes, the ethylene glycol is quite a good lubricant, and it should make things quieter, and obviously the pump will last much, much longer. There are people that reckon it damages the seals after a long time, but I doubt it. I doubt it. It must be something with very poor quality seals if ethylene glycol damages it. Okay, Mike, yes, as I said, your picture also is good, and your audio. Your biggest problem is room acoustics because of that very low roof you have there in the shack. But if you have a proper cardioid pattern microphone, it'll cut out a lot of that. And just use plain, clean linear audio. It always works the best. Right. Yeah, we're having load shed in less than half an hour. So if I disappear, you know why. It's because of lack of power, load shedding. Okay, that is about it. Yeah, next one is Bert, Papa Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta, for the group ZS1 Mike.
Yep, it's me. Hey, hello everybody. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. Yeah, I was a little playing with my DATV station, also using the Fox One EGP software, but I could not get it to work directly. So I switched back to my original FFmpeg scripts, bus files, and that works always, and also simple. But anyway, I was trying it then. Did not much last week. We had very warm last week, especially on last Thursday. It was way above 30 degrees centigrade. And yeah, anyway, that's for me too hot. So I've not been in the shack for a couple of days. Just something in a little bit in the morning, but for the rest of the day, I don't enter the shack. It's nice, the shack is in the south. It's in the winter, it's perfect. I get all the sun, but when the sun is shining with 30 degrees, yeah, the shack is not the place to be. Okay, about Benno, about the Pluto Plus. Yeah, I do not own one. I do not even know if they are still available, but yeah, it's great to see that that's worked now. I know a few other guys who has also a Pluto Plus, but they all put it on the side away because that's not working together with the DATV and the net. But that seems to be working now, so that's always fine to see. And the fox hunting is probably, I guess anyway, because you said it's in a boat, it's probably a small place called G4FKK. That's a small place in the Netherlands. A lot of tourists over there, and I presume it's somewhere over there with a small boat or something like that, or canoe or whatever you do with the fox hunting. I did it in old days fox hunting, but yeah, on a certain moment I stopped with it. I don't know why, but there was no interest anymore at the club at that time. But that was somewhere in the 1980s already. So. But anyway, yeah, Tom, the white band spectrum looks fine. Indeed, the time is very big, what Leon all said. Probably Leon mentioned this little box. That's the SDR, what's it called? SDR Play. That's also with two SME connectors, and that's probably the one Leon mentioned. So yeah, if you can make something also with this, it would be nice. But about your Winterhill software, Tom. The client, I started it, what was that, last Wednesday or so. I started up the Winterhill. I left it running for the last couple of days, so 24 hours a day, and without any issue. I can start it again, the client, and it picks up every day and every moment. So the hardware is working anyway fine for the Winterhill. Also, the modified software for the Winterhill is working fine, and the client is also perfect. I this morning a talk with Papa Elfrey Bravo Yankee Victor. He's tried also the client software, but he had some issues. His client PC, uses two LAN adapters, and it seems to be that he has a problem with the two LAN adapters. But he will send you a mail, Tom, about his findings, about the trouble to get that working. Yeah, Randall, about the water cooling. Yeah, that's nice. I'm also trying to make something for myself over here, but more for the 70 centimeters and the 2 meter, and maybe the shortwave also, to change that to water cooling. I got totally zero experience with the water cooling, and yeah, I will find out what it is. Maybe you can, when you are next up, maybe you can give some numbers from the water pump, or links maybe for the water pump, because yeah, that's crucial. The water pump. The water must not flow too slow and also not too fast to pick up all the heat from the amplifier. Yeah, about Mike's Pi just arrived last Saturday from the Pi Hut. Indeed, a nice Raspberry Pi. It's indeed very hard to get one, but I'm lucky one to get it in. It took approximately a week to get it over here in the Netherlands, and it was fine. It was the 2 GB version. But 2 GB is more enough for most applications. Yeah, what I've here is, let's see. What was this? I want to show you. I'm also busy a little bit with my 30 centimeters FM ATV transceiver. It's from old modules, I believe from the 1980s or maybe the 90s. Comtech. That's maybe some guys know this from ages ago. I was switched over to the bench camera, so some people called it. Let's see if that works over here. And indeed, that works. As you can see, it's let's see, can show a little bit more. Contact modules and transmitter module. You see, rather small. You can see it in comparable to my fingers. And also a receiver module. And of course the relay for switching between the TX and RX. And this is a small amplifier, approximately 2 watt on 30 centimeters. And that's not on the QO-100 frequency, but on the local terrestrial frequencies for ATV. This is one of my homemade PCBs. Let's see if I can. Oh, okay, this way. With a PIC processor in it. And a small ATV generator from the Thomson, from a French company. Can generate teletext characters, and also you can put in the video, and you can overlay the video so in. Also a real-time plug on it. But yeah, and the front is just this, with this real sizzle, 30 centimeter M2 transceiver. You can put 2 audios, you can put in the stereo if necessary, but yeah, most people cannot receive stereo, so yeah, that's maybe useless, but anyway, I built it anyway to make a professional station. And yeah, the backside is still not labeled, but anyway, I can make 2 watts. That is only one problem, the antenna at the moment. I'm still busy with making or buying whatever an antenna for 30 centimeters. I'm thinking about making a combination for 23 and 30 centimeters and a small dish, 1.2 meter dish. But anyway, that's it from my side at the moment. Let's see. Oh, that's not correct. There are so many buttons on the computer. Okay, that's it from this side. System then to South America to Ed, and he tells more about the expedition. Maybe you can also tell then, is it only wideband, or I mean only narrowband, or also wideband? Ed, yours the system. Pop Yankee 2, Radio Nancy. Pop Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta. Bye bye.
Yeah, guys, I have no idea why I have a strange box in front of me. Let me see if I can point my mouse. No, it's like a game. Oh boy. Oh, here. Yeah. Oh boy, that OBS is funny, man. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening. Glad to see you all. Yeah. On my back here, it's Voyager 1. For those who doesn't know, which is a spacecraft which is in another galaxy already. But very nice, Bert, your analog ATV transceiver. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm just curious, you guys there in Europe or South Africa, when you do your assemblies, like your homemade, how does it work with the legal telecom authority there? Because here it's kind of nightmare. Everything that you assemble, actually, you are obligated to make a technical description, show them the project, and register it. That's the bureaucracy they demand for homemade homebrew assemblies. We are trying desperately to avoid it, but if we follow the law line by line, yes, we are obligated to present them with all the homebrew assemblies so they can put their label. Yeah, that's another nightmare for us here. I'm not sure they're in South Africa, Netherlands, and you know, Europe. If it's in general, it's still, this is also a demand from the authorities. But anyways, so the Zulu 01 Mike, great audio, great image, actually for everybody. Very good reception, very good video and audio for everyone. Mike, G1 Lima Whiskey X-ray, I think he's no longer here with us, but I really appreciated the Winter Hill assembly, very nice, and I like it, the idea of using a big fan instead of several little fans, which is what I've been doing here. So it's a good idea to use a big fan instead of several little ones. That's great idea. Randall, nice to see you back. Long time I don't see you here on the net, so welcome back. And great amplifier, very nice box, water cooling, excellent, very nice. Tom, yeah, another useful and very nice application that you have developed, but I'm just curious if it would run in earlier versions of Raspberry Pi, like I don't know, 3.0 maybe. No, I don't believe 0 gonna handle that, but I don't know if it does need a Pi 4 or can run on a Pi 3 or something like that. Tom, please let us know. Benno, great news. As always, you are bringing very nice and great news for us. Glad that we have now an option to load on the Chinese Pluto Plus, and we can retain the Ethernet port capability. That's really a big plus. I mean, it's great. So we can do DATV and keep the Ethernet port on that Chinese box. That's great. Gary, just an update. I mean, I know that I need to upgrade my LNB here to do that Doppler experiment, but unfortunately, the last, I would say, the two or three last weeks here for me is being very busy getting everything prepared to go to the island, Papa Yankee 0 Foxtrot, and my call sign there is already issued, which is Zulu Yankee 0 Fox Uniform November, ZY0 Fun. I just prepared, I'm going to show you guys a little movie from the island that I prepared not for my operation there, but actually I have prepared that almost 2 years ago when Papa 6 Zulu Zulu, which is also Papa Yankee 0 Foxtrot Andre, he used to live there in the island, but he moved it out, came to the continent, but he would return to the island to operate a QO-100. So I made a little movie that was about 2 years, almost 2 years ago, but unfortunately Andre passed away, so he's no longer with us. So that's the little movie I just did, and let me show you guys here. Let me bring out my audio. Okay, yeah, that's the plan. To be there, actually, we're gonna get there next Thursday and start operation hopefully on Friday. Answering to Tom, yep, we'll be glad to try Leo, maybe Oscar 7 or RS44. I know that from here, I'm able to speak to South Africa through AO7 from here, São Paulo, but not sure from that location. But if it's possible, of course, we can try. And answering to Bert, no, Bert, unfortunately this time no DATV capability. I'm just taking a 60 centimeters dish, which by the way split in two. So I'm gonna carry that on the bag. But you know, for the next one, since it's gonna be my first time there, so I'm gonna do like research and maybe, you know, next time will be also possible to do the ATV from there. Yep, that's about it. I'm gonna take aero antenna for the Leo with FT847, and for the QO-100, gonna take Pluto, SG Lab amplifier, and the 60 centimeters antenna, a dish with helix, with the helix and the LNB. And I was saying to Gary that I didn't get time to modify my LNB to work with the Doppler experiment, Gary. But as soon as I return, which is going to be the following week, I'm probably going to try to start doing that. That being said, I think I'm the last one on the list, so I'm going to send back to Gary. Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. Back to you, Gary. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Okay, very, very good. Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Very, very good. ZS6YI. Oh, very good. It's been an interesting afternoon so far. And I also want to mention that Benno has a new station from Finland, which he will call in just after he's over. So, Tom, before you take it, please give a gap for the guy from Finland. I don't know his call sign. I just got a message from Benno saying he's going to call in the guy. But talking about stations and so on, I've got an important guest in my shack, and I'll call him closer. Come, Leslie. Let's get to the microphone. Let's see if... there we go. Right, this is Leslie. You guys have seen him before. And, right, say hello.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm on school holidays now, so my grandpa's trying to teach me Morse code. Hope you have a good day.
Okay, thanks, Leslie. Yes, and show them your shirt. He's got a multicolored shirt, which is ideal for DATV. Better than the color pattern. What shirt's this called again?
Among Us, that's a game.
Among Us, it's a game. He was explaining to Leon what everything means, but Leon and I are not hot on these things. Okay, boy, you can continue with your game. So there we go. That's Leslie. We've got to try and convince him to do amateur radio from a young age. And he's got the first 5 letters nicely down to pat. So it's the next 5. And, you know, by the time his school holidays have ended, he'll hopefully be able to receive and send a little bit of Morse. But anyway, it's all good fun. Right. With that, I just want to quickly comment on the guys that came through. Benno, your Pluto, very nice news to hear that. That's coming right now. Because, yeah, I've heard of a lot of guys battling. In fact, a guy called Romeo, he'll be joining us one or other time. He came on the narrowband with the new Pluto. I think it's I don't know what model, D or something. It's the one that's got the little clips for an external oscillator. And he had a little bit of an issue to get the thing going between the Pluto controller and when we went pass through to go to SDR console. But in the end, it sort of worked. So yeah, it wasn't as easy as the original Pluto. So I don't know what changes have been made there on the software, but it was a bit of a challenge. Anyway, that's all done. Tom, once again, sterling work, excellent. It'll be nice with the call signs in, as we discussed earlier, and the overpower limit. And I know you're going to do some more research on what the BATC is doing on the overpower. There's two ways. You can have a look at your levels, and if it goes, say, 1 or 2 dB above the beacon, then that can come overpower on all modes. But it is their power density level that they're calculating. You don't need to do that. It's just an indication where you are. But it's great work, and it's already working very well. So hats off and kudos to you on that one. Randall, yeah, everything fine on your side. You were just a bit low, as Leon said, so just adjust the camera. But it's not critical. We heard everything you said. Good video, good audio. Mike's gone. He's gone to fetch his XYL, but nice seeing you, Mike. Audio was a lot better than last week, and you're certainly doing a great job on those winter hills. I think this is number 6 that you've built thus far, so wonderful. Leon, as per usual, nice signal from you, and no negative comment. So yeah, I do note you don't like the audio processing that we're playing around with. We understand, but I tell you what, it made a big difference to Benno from the sense that he used to look away and his audio would drop and then it'll blow through. Now it's more level. But Benno can do a very few small tests. He got the software about 5 minutes before we came on air, so he hasn't really sorted it out yet. But it's working well, and it's doing what we wanted to do, and it makes it more, shall we say, even. But anyway, it's not bad software, I must say. Right, then Bert, wonderful construction there. And also wanted to say to Randall with the cooling, I do the same. I run water cool. When I say water cool, it's propylene glycol based. And if you have a look, I can show you, no matter how long I speak, I keep the temperature ice cold. And on the power amp, I'm only drawing about 5.5 amps, and I'm 19.8 degrees. There's a bit of a reflection on the camera at the moment, 19.8 degrees on my finals. Another tip though, and we do that with injection molding, that is that we do not want a high volume of pump. There's a time lag so that the water or the glycol in this case can absorb the heat. If you do it too quick, there's not enough time for it to absorb the heat, so your temperature actually goes up. We've tested that with injection molding chillers and temperature controllers. So we regulate the speed just right so that you get maximum transfer of heat. And we found that you don't need to go like a normal air fan. You try and blow it like mad. You don't have to do that with a pump. You can reduce it a little bit because there is a lag. And if you put the oil in or the propylene glycol or whatever you are using, then indeed it does lubricate the gears a bit. Sometimes some of the seals go soft, but if you use a Viton seal, it doesn't. It lasts for a long time. And then you can just play around with the speed, and it's all good. Right, I think that was answering basically everyone. Yeah, it's going to be nice when you go on that expedition there, Ed. We look forward to seeing that, and hopefully we can work you on that for sure. That'll be nice. Yeah, we're talking about fox hunts. We had a fox hunt at my QTH many years ago. And what a guy did was he went opposite the river, far away, because I live on the river here, and he took his transmitter, put it in a plastic bag, and he took a reed, broke off the reed next to the water, and he stuck the antenna into the reed, and then he put it all in. so you couldn't see it. And then he sat back in a tree watching. And you won't believe it, despite that, one chap found it as though you told him go right there. It was immediate. It was unbelievable. They ran across a bridge. It was a pipeline. And I thought, here, if they fall in that water, they're going to get hurt. It was high and it was quite cold. But these fox hunt guys do funny things. They really take it serious. And it was great fun when it lasted, but eventually the novelty wore off. Right, with that, I'm going to be passing it to Benno, who will bring in our new station from Finland. Looking forward to that. And then that station will pass it to Tom, ZR6TG, and we'll wrap it up in one over like that. So, Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, to take it from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee India, and the worldwide DATV Net.
Okay, well, thank you, Gary, for making a second round. I understand what Leon is talking about, and I already heard it the minute when I switched on, but because of just a few minutes playing with it, I need to figure out it. It's very easy to switch off, by the way. So this is without the compressor, and I think Leon likes it this way. And I believe with the noise gate and the compressor, it's already better. But it needs to be fine-tuned as well. And like Gary said, I tend on turning away from my microphone, and then my audio drops quite extensively. Okay, for the fox hunting, that's in a local area. Indeed, it's near Giethoorn. It's Kalenberg for Bert, which is only 10 or 15 kilometers from Giethoorn, which is a very similar place, a lot of nature, where in the early days the people buried pulled out, how do you say that, digged in the ground, and it makes a lot of canals in a very nice nature environment, and which is unique for Europe and unique for the Netherlands, and they made a fox hunting journey there, which is unique for the world. And even people from all over Europe will come next weekend to Holland, to my place, to do the fox hunting. So we have people from Belgium, from Germany, from even some from East Europe. So from Ukraine, they normally come. And so probably we'll see a lot of people again, and do a nice day of fox hunting on a boat. It's a very slow process. You don't have to walk more than 1 or 2 meters, because the boat is not big enough, and you can reach all the foxes, which are on 80 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and even 23 centimeters, which is bands where you can do fox hunting on. And so it's a kind of fun and a nice relaxing day it will be. Okay, next I'm very proud to announce ESCO. ESCO was looking for some assistance on the BADC, I think somewhere in the winter, and we have a very long winter apparently in Finland. But I gave him some pointers, and he managed to get a great station, which is not strong enough, not really strong at the moment. So I bear with you. Please point out your antenna correctly. He would be on this channel. ESCO, Oscar Hotel 6, Mike, Quebec, Mike. Please take the frequency for the net from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-ray, and after ESCO the microphone goes back to Tom Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. ESCO the microphone.
Okay, thanks there, Isco. Oscar Hotel 6, Mike, Quebec, Mike. And I had problems decoding you on my side, so I'm not quite sure. I'll have a look on the YouTube a bit later to see if it was on my receive or it was on your transmit. But received your test card there, and I saw you briefly. And very nice to meet you there, and welcome onto the DATV satellite. It's always great when new people are on there, especially somebody from Iceland. It's quite a nice call sign there. So welcome to you there. Okay, great net today. Definitely a lot of cool stuff. Firstly to Benno, yeah, that firmware I've already downloaded on my side, so I'm going to definitely try it out. So thanks for that. Oh, sorry, not Iceland, Finland. My apologies. But yeah, your video was well received, your test card and everything well. So yeah, good on you. Nice station there. Okay, yeah, like I said, Benno, thanks for the firmware link there. Definitely gonna jump on that and play around with it and enjoy the fox hunting. Sounds awesome. Randall, nice to see you here on the net as well. It's a very clean amplifier setup you've got going there. I don't know, you mentioned it's a bit messy for you, but yeah, I thought it looked great. Definitely no issues there. Mike, G1LWX, yeah, you're probably not there anymore. But your winter hill looks nice and clean in that amplifier as well. Okay, Leon, yes, one smaller screen definitely possible. Two, the big clock is not necessary. I added in the clock for myself because I wanted a shack clock, but the whole clock can actually disappear and just be one display. What did you say there? The Pluto. Yeah, if you're using the same SDR that Bert was showing there, or if you have one of those, then yes, that should be doable. But I think you've showed an SDR before, and it was one of those Chinese thingamabobs. I'm not quite sure about that one. But you don't need to dedicate the whole Pluto on this. The idea, remember well, I'm not quite sure on your setup there, but I'm assuming you're already using a Pluto for DATV transmissions. And since that is full duplex and it can receive while you're busy transmitting DATV, in theory you can just tie it into your existing Pluto. So that's the thinking around using the Pluto there. No, dedicating a whole Pluto just for that seems definitely wasteful. But yeah, smaller screen definitely possible. I've got some other screens on the Raspberry Pi, so we'll definitely give it a try as well. And yeah, I'm curious to know, Leon, how's it going with the building there? You didn't mention anything, so I'm assuming either A, they didn't start yet, or B, it's still an ongoing painful process. But always good to see you there as well. And yeah, I'm jealous of your weather. Over here, it's been quite cold and wet the past couple of days, so I have not been enjoying that at all. Thanks for the feedback on the winter hill. Sorry, I haven't replied to your email yet. I'll get on to that. It's been a bit of a hectic week. And yes, regarding your friend with the two network adapters. So when that winter hill client starts up, it essentially takes if it takes multiple adapters, then it uses the first one. But I'll need to double check if I put it in, but there should be a setting where you can force it to tell it which IP address to use. I'll just double check again to see if I actually put that in there. If I haven't, then it's an easy fix. So, but yeah, you can send me a mail anytime and we can look into it and sort it out. And then your transceiver build, wow, that's a very clean build, looks very nice. And yeah, well done on that, looking good. Ed, regarding the homebrew, well, no, Gary can correct me there. He's probably got a better idea of it. But here in South Africa, the fact that we've got the amateur radio license means that we can homebrew and use equipment that doesn't need to be typed approved or approved by anybody. It's pretty much the point of the amateur radio license here, that we can homebrew, and obviously it's our own responsibility to stay within the bands that we're allowed to transmit and put out a nice clean signal. But as far as I know, it's homebrew here. It's That's the whole point of the license itself. So we don't need, once you have your amateur radio license, you wouldn't necessarily need to register any homebrew builds. At least not that I know of. I hope not. That would suck. It's a sucky situation because the whole point is to be able to experiment and play with. So if you have to register builds like that and it's a painful process, then yeah, I can imagine that's not fun. Regarding the spectrum on the Raspberry Pis, I don't know about the Raspberry Pi Zero. That might be a bit tight, but I can't think of any reason why it shouldn't work on a Raspberry Pi 2 or a Raspberry Pi 3. I've got all the Pis here, so I'll try it out. The only reason I used the Raspberry Pi 4 is purely because that's the Raspberry Pi that was connected to the screen at the moment. I believe this was still from my initial experiments with the ports down, so that's why it's got the Pi 4 on there. But it's not a very intensive process what it's doing, so in theory a Pi 3 should work as well. I'll do some more research and try out a few things then. And then, yeah, nice video of the island. Looks very nice. I'm jealous. You're gonna have a nice little trip there, and I'll have a look, see what passes there are for the satellites, and we can give it a go. I'll drop you a mail or send you a message, see what we can schedule. Alternatively, it'll be nice to just do a contact there on the narrowband as well. But have fun with that, and please do take lots of photos and video. It looks like a beautiful place. And then, yeah, on Gary's side, hi Leslie, and welcome there on the satellite again. Good to see you. Among Us, yes, I know it well. Aiden, my son, plays it a lot as well. So, yeah, no, fun game that, and a very nice shirt that you've got on there. And good luck with the Morse code. I'd be keen to hear your progress. So well done there on getting the first couple of ones down already. Okay, I think that covers pretty much everybody. Might have missed something there. If I have, apologies. But yeah, as always, good to see everybody, and nice stuff that everybody's been involved with and playing with and that, so really been enjoying that. Okay, I need to give it over to Randall, of course. Randall, back to you there. Papa Echo 1, Sierra Delta Echo, here from Zulu Romeo 6, Tango Golf.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Okay, Tom. So, yeah, I have written some things down for people that are asking me for how much everything costs. Now I make a small list, not including, of course, the amplifier. The pump runs on 12 volts, 20 liters per minute. At 10 volts I have measured with a special gauge, and it's about 16 liters per minute, so that's enough. The radiator, it's a standard radiator that you can buy by AliExpress, so that's not very big. It's easy to find. The heatsink, I get it here locally from one of my friends. So power supply, meanwhile I've bought on eBay. The heat exchange, that's between the heatsink, the box, and the amplifier. That's cost around 16 euros. So that's and yeah, hoses locally, and I say use for the pressure lines that is from the pump to the heat exchange, from the heat exchange to the radiator, and from the radiator you can use small normal hoses, because those hoses are flexible, And then you can open the box and you can do some work in it. There is also for me nog something to do. I want to have the ESP32 connected, or a long 18 DS20B. You can buy them with 10 meter cords on it, 5 meters, 7.5 meters. And then you can adjust it like will. And I use that for a small monitor that I have here. Can I take it out? No, I can't. It's a shame. Wait a minute. I can try something. Keep. That's my, oh. It's not really very good, but okay. I have a small display that tells me how much temperature now my amplifier is on the roof, and yeah, that's about it. Who is the next one in line? I had Tom. Damn, I must look it up again. I believe it was the net controller itself, but I can be wrong. So no. Even kijken. Ja. I give him to Zulu Sierra 1. Mike. It's Papa Echo 1. That will happen. So we'll just go to the next station then, and that will be Bert, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta. Would you mind taking it, please, Bert, from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India?
Yeah, it's in. Yeah, sorry, I was not prepared for it, so I had to quickly switch on. Oh, I thought I switched off the audio. Now it's off. Okay, I was not prepared. That was me so quickly already. Yeah, Leon mentioned it about his problems over there, or maybe problems. Okay, reset in the station from Finland. Video was okay, but on my side anyway, was no audio. But that could be my problem, but I don't think so, because the other one were all fine, all the stations. So there's probably some problem with problems with the audio. Okay, nothing to more about here. Randall, thanks for some info about your equipment over there for the water cooling. Yeah, I'll see you probably maybe next week. Have a nice week, and see you next time. And then the system goes then to Ed. Papa Yankee 2, Radio Nancy, from the Papa Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta.
Okay, guys. Yeah, very nice. Ooh, thank you, Benno. You wish to welcome Oscar Hotel 6 Mike Quebec Mike. It's, welcome to the net. Glad to see you. Good image, but no sound. So maybe it's still missing some little adjustment there. So we can hear you. Thank you, Tom, for your testimony. Actually, I'm glad that we are recording those DATV nets. Gary is transmitting on YouTube, and it's being recorded, so I can exactly extract the point with your testimony, if it's okay for you, of course, and show to some guys, because believe it or not, even some ham radios are supporting this decision. But I totally agree with you, and it's gonna be good to show them South Africa parameter as well. And okay, guys. So next weekend, obviously, I'm not joined the net. I'll try to send. I'll try to send some video, probably to Gary, if I can get some internet connection there, of course. So maybe Gary can play here on the DATV net. So I'm gonna be pre-recorded from the island here on the DATV net next Sunday, if everything works okay. All right. Wish you all a great upcoming week, and all the best. Thank you for this another excellent DATV net. Greetings to everyone. Bye bye from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Gary, back to you. Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. Over to you.
And I'll make this also the final over. This is ZS6YI. And yes, Tom's on the button. We don't have to register any of our equipment that we make ourselves. What's the point of becoming an amateur and going through the exam and so on? But as Tom rightly says, you must, of course, have the right measuring equipment in your shack. You must be able to prove that, and that you're not going to cause interference on other stations and on the facilities like police band and so forth. And if you can, do what you, if they ever do come for an inspection, of which they're totally entitled to, they will check your shack to make sure that you haven't got harmonics on other frequencies causing trouble, and that things are running properly. But the whole idea is to experiment and to develop technology and so forth. And yeah, if you have to get everything assized by somebody, who says that somebody knows enough? It's the next question. So anyway, you can certainly use that on any of your broadcasts. Right, with that, I also want to welcome ESCO, Ocean Hotel 6 Mike, Quebec Mike. Yeah, nice pattern. I got a bit of your image, but your audio was very low, 6 kilobits per second. So we didn't get that, but it doesn't matter. You're on the right track, and we welcome you to come. I went and had a look on your QRZ.com page with you standing in front of the aeroplane, and I looked at the date. It was the Sunday, one day before I was shot. I was shot very badly with people that attacked our home. And that was on the 25th of the 7th, 2011. So that Sunday I remember clearly, because it was ice cold here, and there was a little duckling in my pond. I've got a very big pond outside, and the duckling couldn't get out of the pond. And so there was a plank between an island and my pond. I have an island in the pond. It's a very big pond. So I walked on this plank to try and get the duckling, and the bloody plank broke, and I fell in. I was still in my pajamas and my coat, and I fell into that water. It was ice cold. I got the duckling out, and I got it onto the ground, and it ran after its mother. And so they were happy, but I was freezing. And immediately the thought of the Titanic came back to me. I thought, gee, those poor people that landed up in the sea, and that was even colder temperature than what I fell in. And 24 hours later, I had another bad luck, and that is when I was shot with the AK-47 7 times. So that was bad. Right. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to say 7-3 to everybody. I'm going to throw the net into the air and bid everyone on frequency a happy day. And yeah, I was just going to say, Randall, I've got some nice photos which I took for Saro. I use cooling like you've got. I've got a proper refrigeration unit, so my temperature always remains very low. And I thought I've got a few pictures which I've just downloaded, but maybe next week I'll just put it together, and then I can show you what I did there and how I did it. Incidentally, a tip, those hose pipes you're using, they're all good and well, but I would replace them with a silicon pipe, and there's a reason. Funny, I was just playing with some silicon pipe yesterday with Leslie. I was teaching him how you can talk into a pipe and you can hear it. But this is a very soft silicon pipe. Beauty is it can take very high temperatures if you needed to, and you can see through it, which you can with yours. So with the glycol, mine's yellow. So I immediately know that my system is airless and it's working properly. And with the silicon pipe, we use it at the salt mine where some of our molds go to 120, 150 degrees Celsius, and the silicon pipe doesn't burst like other pipes, and it can take quite a nice pressure as well, not very high, but enough. And it's also fits over the little what do you call it, nipples we call it. It fits over and it bites in, so it doesn't pull off, because that sometimes you have to put little clamps onto these pipes. With the silicon, it doesn't. And it sits very nicely. So that's just a tip. Anyway, with that, gentlemen, I will say 7-3 to all on board. Thanks for coming up as usual. And thanks to all the listeners and the viewers. There's been a number, 28 of them on YouTube. Sorry, I had to change the YouTube channel. Something went wrong. I do not know why or what, but I had to shut down and start again, and it all came up right. And Johan, ZS6 Juliet Papa Lima, and Saro, I know you guys are watching as well. Soon, Johan will be on frequency with us, not far to go. Right, all the best. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, now signing clear and opening the frequency to general use. 7-3 all.